My name is Gokun. I'm a sales engineer for SUSE. I'm based in San Diego. Today we're going to talk about SUSE Manager. It's a business presentation, and I have two colleagues with me. And they're...
I'm Don Vosberg. I'm SUSE SE from Indianapolis.
Hi, I'm Ovidio de Jesus. I'm an SC based out of Southeast Florida.
Okay, it works. Okay, so again, this is one of our business presentations. So it will be a little bit higher level, and we're going to talk about the business challenges, what drives your IT operations, and how we can help you to address those challenges with SUSE Manager. What it takes to deploy a SUSE Manager, what are the requirements to do that, and what kind of clients can you manage with SUSE Manager. And then we're going to talk about customer success stories, give you some references, a little bit of our personal experiences with those customers. And then we're going to take some questions, and then that will be all.
So how many of you already have SUSE Manager in your environment? Okay, a few. That's good. Great. So you're going to hold us accountable to tell the truth.
Using SUSE Manager, what kind of stuff are you guys using? Manual scripts and stuff?
How are you managing your systems?
That's enough informal polling for now. Okay. Let's do it, man. Just go.
All right, so the three primary challenges that we can talk about is the costs. Basically, it is a lot better compared to the past. You don't have to use proprietary systems. You don't have to pay for proprietary hardware, software. It is x86 and open software with SUSE, as you know. But it doesn't change the fact that you still have a budget, right? You still have a budget, and you still need to address those cost challenges. The complexity is, again, it's an issue. SUSE is usually not the only distribution that you have in your environment, and you might have several environments. You may have your local network, and you may have machines, systems in cloud, or they may be virtual, physical. So there can be a lot of complexity challenges that you need to address by some way or another. Compliance.
Well,
again.
He doesn't like me looking at him.
Yeah, he does that every year. Oh my. You can't get used to this.
Yeah, go to your corner.
And lastly, compliance. We actually talked about. How many of you were in the session that we had before? Okay, this one, two. All right. So compliance. It is one of the biggest issues that we need to address. And SUSE Manager really has a lot of features that can help you to address those compliance challenges. We have CV audit features. We have open ASCAP auditing. Again, we will not go into too much detail in those, but we will be here the whole week. Just come to us and ask about those things if you're interested.
We are going to have a demo.
We are going to have a demo. Right, sorry about that. I forgot about that one. We're going to have a demo for the CV audit part. Thanks, Tom. So what is SUSE Manager? It is basically a centralized management tool that allows you to manage the whole life cycle of your systems, from provisioning to patch and package management, configuration management, auditing. It allows you to manage all of that from a single pane of view. And it helps you address those three challenges that I talked about: cost, complexity, and compliance. So, Video, do you want to talk about this one?
So let's go a little bit in more detail. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit more detail on the 3 C's that Gökhan was talking about. So let's start with cost. Everybody has a budget, and you have to do every year probably twice as much with half as much. So one of the things that we're trying to do with SUSE Managers is help you with that, help you in the cost department. So one of the things that SUSE Manager can help you is because you can deploy everything from one single place. You can deploy, let's say, a physical machine, a virtual machine, some kind of cloud VM. Again, you're doing it from one central place, so you don't have to go to all sorts of different places. Use different tools for doing this. SUSE Manager is your own single central tool. So you save that you only have to buy one tool. You don't have to buy 5, 6, 10 of them. Another thing, again, talking about tools will be auditing. We live in a time of that everything has to be audited. Just want to make sure that you have everything up to date, or your patches and your updates and everything are there. And then all of a sudden, for example, something comes up, some kind of security patch that you have to apply to all your machines. So it's nice to go to SUSE Manager, again, one central place. You can check out your hardware of the software, see if everybody is updated, if you have the right patches, if you have the latest patches. Maybe you're getting an audit, or maybe your boss is saying, hey, we should look into this because I think we're going to get audited next week. You can go and do a quick check, and then SUSE Manager can come back with a report that shows, okay, these machines are okay, you're fine with those. These machines need a patch and we have it available. Or for example, these machines, they need a patch, but we don't have it. So you need to go out there and try to figure out how we're going to get this patch to get this machine up to snuff. And also, another way is to maintain configurations for the system, both for you to know what you have on your infrastructure, what kind of hardware you have, what kind of versions of the OS are running in there, make a nice list of that. And also, again, to keep track of if you have all your patches and everything for that particular version of the OS, etc. So again, by optimizing the usage and putting everything into one place, it saves you some money. Once again, optimizing everything reduces the cost, putting everything into one place. So instead of having different tools, maybe having different people doing different types of operations and stuff, you bring everything into one central place, and that saves you time, money, and resources. The next C will be complexity. On the left-hand side, we see what a regular IT department looks like today.
Can you identify with that? Can anybody, I think the worst case that I ever came to, I'm going to inject my own story. I went to a hospital where the IT purchasing decisions were decentralized. So these doctor groups would go to a convention and find a solution and buy it, and then come back and tell the IT people they had to solve it. So at one time, they had 8 different, complete, distinct systems within their one data center that they were charged with deploying and giving out to the community.
So yeah, that can be a huge headache. So like Don was just mentioning, you'll have stuff like all over the place. For example, you'll have some SUSE, hopefully, somewhere in your data center. But you may also have Red Hat, some other flavor of Linux. A lot of people are starting to do cloud, whether it's private or public. Again, these are systems that are sitting out there that need to be patched, that need to be organized and taken care of. Hardware, you want to see what kind of hardware you have. Maybe you have some old hardware needs to be updated. Storage, everybody needs storage. I mean, these days, the amount of data, like Don was saying, especially in a hospital, not only the amount of data, but how long you have to keep that data. Storage is a big component of IT today. And again, if you're doing virtualization, whether it's in the cloud or inside, you have a bunch of different hypervisors, whether it's KVM, Zen, VMware, Microsoft Hyper-V. So you have a lot of different flavors of systems sitting out there, and you need to maintain them. So with SUSE Manager, basically, you can put SUSE Manager in the middle and have SUSE Manager go out there and manage your SUSE systems, manage your Red Hat systems. We can do that. I don't know if you guys are aware that we are able to manage and support Red Hat systems. These can be physical systems. This can be virtual systems. This can be systems on the cloud, for example. So SUSE Manager can reside on your data center and handle all these systems, or you can have SUSE Manager, for example, you can install it on the cloud also.
What about System Z? Can you do that?
And you can do System Z. Thank you. So not only x86, but we also have all sorts of different hardware. Yes, we can do the OpenStack. And then anything that is running on OpenStack, we can also manage systems that are running on the, like I said, on the private or the public cloud. That could be OpenStack private, or it could be public cloud with the AWS, Azure, Google. You can have systems over there. And again, SUSE Manager can be installed on your IT department, or you can install it on Azure, or you can install it on AWS, and it can still manage all the different systems. Well, SUSE Manager will not do the migration. That's correct, right?
We have other tools like machine.
Yeah, we have different tools. We have consultants that can do that type of work. But once the machine is moved over, then it can be.
Oh, no, I was kind of thinking along the lines of single pane of glass. That's all.
For management, but to physically move it from one place to another, no.
As with SOLID, we are now exploring the configuration management space. Expect something like this in the future. This is a machinery use case of grabbing an existing configuration and rolling it out on a different system. Okay. And we will address this in the future.
Yeah, so this, in the front row, we have Klaus Kempf, who is product owner for SUSE Manager. So he's the gatekeeper between what you guys need and what the developers can do. And so he's joined us for today's session, and he's our auditor.
Indeed. So again, when it comes to complexity, SUSE Manager can help you decrease the complexity of your data center to bring everything when it's management, or maybe deploying stuff locally on the virtual machines or on the cloud. It can do that kind of stuff. The next one will be compliance. Again, we talked about that. We live in a world today that we're getting threats all over the place. Every other day you see something come up, shell shock or heartbeat or heartbleed, whatever. That has to be taken care of. Some of these are not as important as others, so some you can wait, but some of the ones you have to do it right now, so you want to make sure that all your systems get updated immediately. So for this, we have the ability of being able to, you guys know what the CVE is? It's the number that you get from MITRE Corporation saying CVE number 2016, so is, this particular threat. So what you can do is take that CVE number, go to SUSE Manager, and ask SUSE Manager, find me of all the systems that you have, you're managing at the moment, which systems are covered, which systems I need to take a look at, etc. As I mentioned to you before, SUSE Manager will give you different levels, and you'll see that.
And this is exactly what the demo is.
And you'll see that in the demo.
Which I get to do right now, isn't it?
No, just not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. Just wait for it. Give me 2 seconds to finish this. So with the CVE, you can look at all the systems, get some information there, maybe print out a report, whatever, and at that time, you can make decisions of, yes, I'm going to do these, or all of them, or maybe set them for a different time. And also, we have compliance with OpenSCAP for the systems on your IT department. So now, I'm going to pass it over to Don to do a demo, and we're going to be looking at how to do a CVE check using SUSE Manager.
Okay, So, you are an executive or you know one who reads things and sees this crazy thing on the internet. Here's an example, the drown attack. Have any of you ever heard of the drown attack? Yeah, okay. It says it's a serious vulnerability which raises all kind of red flags, and I go running with my hands up in the air toward the restroom, getting ready to throw up and figure out what's really gonna be a trouble for me, right? Well, unfortunately, the vulnerability of the top 1 million domains, 25% were vulnerable for it at the time it was disclosed in early March. And even at the end, 28% of HTTPS sites were still vulnerable at the end of March of this year. So if you're an organization and you have a public-facing website that uses this type of secure protocol, you want to make sure, am I really vulnerable to this stuff? So now I can actually do this with SUSE Manager. So I can find out what's related to the drown vulnerability. So here's the National Vulnerability Database, and it gives me some scoring saying this is pretty important. It's kind of medium important. And then here is the actual drown attack. You can see this in here. This is the common vulnerability and exposure number that I'm worried about. So what I'm going to do is take this exact number and go to SUSE Manager and look at my portfolio of systems and try to determine, yeah, still there? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm going to look up this CVE number. And you'll notice that I can even look up some previous year's ones, so I'm not restricted to only doing this year's, right? And I want to see what my portfolio looks like. So I'm looking at systems that are affected, either with patches available in channels that aren't assigned to them, or ones that already have patches available, but they just haven't been applied, even the systems that aren't affected at all, and the ones that are patched. So when I click on Audit Systems, in this environment, you can see I have some vulnerable systems. So I have a bunch of them that are already patched, which makes me feel really warm and fuzzy inside, like my sysadmins are really doing their job, because heck, this is November the 8th. This was revealed in March, right? So I don't want to get too mean with them, but from here, I'm not only revealing this, I can create a spreadsheet of this that opens in a spreadsheet that gives me the whole, yeah, discard the recovery, yes. Cancel, yeah, here we go. So I can open it and it gives me a spreadsheet of all of these things and where they're affected and all of those things that I can save and give to my auditor, but I don't really want to give it to him until I fix something, right? So, yeah, sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this one. I'm going to install a new patch onto this top one since it's a priority box anyway, right? So I'm going to look at the OpenSSL, which I know is what the vulnerability is, and see what patches are available to me. Now, you'll notice that there are several OpenSSL fixes. The one that it referenced was back in March, which is this one, but there's two newer ones. I don't really want to go back in time, so I'm going to pick the absolute newest one and take it all the way up to current. So in SUSE Manager, I say apply patches, and it allows me to schedule that on my systems with a no sooner than time. And since I'm worried about it being vulnerable right now, I'm going to go ahead and schedule it to happen right away. So now I've scheduled this. I can actually follow the schedule here and see that this is in fact pointed at my box, and it's pending. And oh, now that one's gone away, and a package list refresh is out there, and now nothing is pending anymore. So I'm going to take a risk and click on completed over here and assume that it was completed. And you can see my OpenSSL patch was in fact completed. and it succeeded on this box. So now I'm going to redo my audit again, just to make sure that I have in fact done the right thing and cleaned up this problem for my priority system. So when I pull it down now, there's one fewer that needs help. Woohoo! Okay, I've done my woohoo, and it's back to you boys. Huh? Oh, I have to talk about salt. Okay. Great, okay.
Yeah, because we're still on 2.1 and it takes a lot longer than that.
Aha! You are like, I love you, because you just gave me something awesome to talk about. So what we've done with SUSE Manager 3 is integrate salt. And in fact, the client that I just patched is a SLES 11 SP4 system that's registered with SUSE Manager using Salt Minion. So the action is much more immediate, and the communication between client and server is greatly improved with Salt, among a lot of other things. This is my clicker, right? Don't mess with my clicker.
I'm messing with it.
Okay. So what we've done is we've begun the integration of Salt into SUSE Manager 3. So SUSE Manager 3 was introduced in April of this year, and we just released an update to it, including new feature enablement at the end of October. So if you haven't looked at it since then, you haven't seen all the stuff that we're trying to do. So Salt allows you to do not just a more rapid communication, but also be able to enforce defined states that you want to see on your system, just like Aaron explained this morning during the keynote. So who's next?
Okay. One other feature that we have in SUSE Manager 3 is the subscription matching. What this allows you to do is it matches your systems that are registered in SUSE Manager to the products that you have. So that way you can actually optimize your subscription usage. You can see if you need more subscriptions than you currently have, or if you have more idle subscriptions, idle entitlements, so that you can arrange them, and you can actually assign entitlements to your products, and that includes your hypervisors as well. Anything else there? All right. Do you want to talk about this one? Okay, so we have an integration with Microsoft System Center Operations Manager. It is basically an agent. You install that in SCUM, and it allows you to manage your Linux servers from the SCUM interface. So it allows you to see them. For example, you select the CV audit. It will show you the systems that needs patching. It will also allow you to. It will basically allow you to do anything that you can through SUSE Manager. It just opens the API of SUSE Manager to System Center Operations Manager. So what does it take and what can be managed? What do you need to actually run SUSE Manager in your environment? CPU and RAM requirements are there, fairly small requirements, but the thing that is important to understand is some actions are RAM intensive. Channel sync, for example. When you add certain channels to SUSE Manager, it will begin the synchronization. It will pull patches, and then it will integrate those patches to SUSE Manager database. And the more RAM you have in that stage, the faster the process will be. But after that point, you don't read that much RAM as much as that phase. That phase, the channel synchronization phase, is the most RAM intensive part of the whole thing.
Could I install SUSE Manager in the cloud?
Oh yes, Don, you can.
Thank you.
You can install SUSE Manager in the cloud.
In fact, that's where my demo was run today, was in Azure Cloud. So the SUSE Manager server and the clients were both up there in the cloud.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. It can be virtual, it can be physical, it can be in the cloud. And just like so, your clients can also be in the cloud, virtual or physical. So we don't really care about that. As long as there's an active network configuration, a network connection between them, SUSE Manager will be able to manage those clients. Also, the disk space is also important. There are some channels that will require a lot of disk space. We will talk about how to manage CentOS and Red Hat clients in another session. And that particular Red Hat channel has about 25,000 packages currently. And it will have...
Just imagine the Christmas tree you would need for that.
Yeah.
25,000 packages.
That is a lot. That is a lot, right, Don?
Yeah.
And it takes about 25 hours to.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It will take a while. And
you can drink a lot of coffee while you're waiting.
Yeah, and it will use all the RAM your machine has. So yeah, make sure you have.
Are you getting
enough
nervous
space.
of me staring at you
No,
again?
I'm used to it. I'm used to it by now.
Okay.
I think. And the clients that you can manage, they're basically for SLES, what we support, including LTSS. LTSS is an additional extension that you buy. So for example, SLES 10, you will need an LTSS for SLES 10, and SLES 11 SP3.
So how many of you are running SLES 10 or previous?
Whoa. Wow.
We still love you, but it's getting harder by the day.
Yeah, one other thing too is on the latest release of SUSE Manager now, we have Salt for.
Right, the SALT clients require you to be newer. So RHEL 6 or 7, SLES 11 and 12 are supported as SALT minions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
What about Ubuntu?
What about Ubuntu? What do you use Ubuntu for?
I'm from Africa, everybody.
So I'm going to let Klaus answer this one.
Klaus.
With SALT, we have a lot of opportunities.
That's all I can say.
That's all he's going to say. That
So
was as non-committal as you could get there.
The official supported clients are SLES and Red Hat and CentOS. And the last two are possible by using something called expanded support. Expanded support is basically Red Hat and CentOS support from SUSE. Theoretically, anything RPM-based, Ubuntu can also be managed, but it will not be supported officially. Native support for Ubuntu.
Okay, there's your request, Klaus. Put that under your hat and let it churn.
Anything is possible. It depends on the use case. It depends on certain things.
And it's not a technical issue. That's all I can say.
That's all he's gonna say. Okay, keep going, keep going. Success stories. Woohoo! This is me? Okay, so all of you who raised your hand earlier and said you have SUSE Manager, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but you are not alone. We have a number of success stories for SUSE Manager. One of the largest ones is Rackspace. Rackspace is a cloud services provider, and their design is to be able to manage hundreds of thousands of hosts with SUSE Manager. So how many of you have more than 100,000 servers that you have to worry about? Pretty sure we can cover it then. We got it, all right? So the European Space Agency is another one. So we have clients that are part of government entities like this that have to have secure and compliant systems. And this part of what SUSE Manager, like we explained earlier, can do to assist you in getting to that point in time. Daimler AG, you might have heard of some of the cars that are on TV. You probably, you know, I've asked all my friends, how many of you have ever gotten a car for Christmas? For all the dang commercials they put on TV, you would think that was more common. All right, so how many of you have ever received a car for Christmas? Okay, how about giving one? I was gonna say, if you've given one, come up later. I'll give you my business card. Pretty sure you'll want to do that. But we work with them using SUSE Manager. Both SLES and SUSE Manager are a part of their success story as well. And Delta Lloyd is another European customer that's switched to SUSE Manager with expanded support. I have a customer that is a Big Ten university who had been using Red Hat Satellite Server and Red Hat to deploy to all of their student organizations and some of the internal administrative folk. And it came to Red Hat contract renewal time, and the number with which they were presented was not appealing to that university. And that began some discussion between them and SUSE. And in fact, they're using, in a similar way, expanded support and SUSE Manager. And the only SLES they have in their environment is the SLES that's running underneath SUSE Manager. The rest of it is all RHEL. So you can be happily running SUSE Manager even if SUSE is not necessarily the major portion of your portfolio, because we've designed it from the beginning to be something that's broader in terms of a tool than only a point solution for managing SUSE systems. You want me to cover this too? Yeah, since I'm up here. All right. So here's some of the resources that you can take advantage of. This slide deck, like all of the session slide decks, will be made available to you, so you don't have to take a photograph of the links and worry about it. So there's a SUSE Manager landing page there at the top. You can do a free trial of SUSE Manager if you wish. All of us are system engineers, sales engineers, and one of our roles is to be able to assist in a proof of concept. So if SUSE Manager becomes something that's really important to you, we can help to do that with a free 2-day engagement. Yeah, that's the next slide, isn't it? So we can help do that for you, because SUSE Manager, unlike other management tools, is not an 18-month and $5 million engagement process. We can bring a return on investment to you much quicker than that. So you get 2 days of somebody like me at no cost, so that sort of sets the expectation level, doesn't it?
No cost.
Yeah, you get everything you pay for at that point, right? Something where you can test it on your own site for 60 days and kick around and see it customized and put into your own environment where you can play with it. And then we also offer quick starts for you to actually get started with SUSE Manager, and that's only a 1-week engagement. So you can engage additional consulting resources. If you're as big as Rackspace and you need a bigger thing, we can scale out to that on our consulting services side as well. What questions do you guys have for us? Anybody have questions? Yes.
So I work in How do we upgrade to version 3? What is the process? The difficulties here?
Can I answer that question?
Whoa, okay. We have Sasha Weber, who's one of our,
Working with my guy,
yeah.
guy is having a session on Thursday afternoon covering that topic with a live demo.
Okay.
Woohoo, good answer.
That was easy.
I'd give you something, but I didn't have my prizes out, sorry. Yes.
I have a question to the audience. Any one of you is still on 2.1 with an Oracle database?
Yeah, Klaus is happy. Yeah, because the default database behind SUSE Manager is PostgreSQL. So if you're a decision maker and you're trying to allocate used Oracle licenses, you don't have to worry about that underneath SUSE Manager. And we have some resources at SUSE that have been working on scaling that to match whatever your business requirements might need. So don't worry about trying to do the Oracle thing.
So I actually have a funny question. A funny story about our implementation. Originally, we were going to use Oracle, and then it was taking us so long to set that up, and we had consulting on site. We're like, forget this, just start from scratch and use the built-in version, and that was like done in 2 hours. So I'm like,
Wow, that's a great story. Thank you. Any other questions or cool stories? Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And have a terrific SUSECON. Don't forget to come to some of these other recommended sessions. We got Managing Red Hat and CentOS. Gokin and I are doing that on Thursday afternoon. If you're interested in Salt, we have a case study from Tyson Foods on Wednesday and Friday. That'll be a great session. So, and the public cloud one I'm doing Friday morning at 9.